And it wasn't jealousy, because I couldn't turn into Charles Bronson, and he could not turn into me. I don't know what it was. And I've thought about it later. Maybe he was shy and wondered and thought I came from these intellectual films, and here I'm doing my first murder film. I was very surprised when I was asked to do Christina in The Emigrants, because it's such a national book in Sweden, and I'm Norwegian. It is what I'm seeing even more now, today. It's the story of the refugees. You are in one country which you love, you have your family there who you love, and you still have to leave because the earth is not giving you the food you need. For me, it was a change because it took a full year to make that movie. And I often say maybe it is my favorite movie because it's such a love story between him and her. It's everything that I wanted when I was young, to have one man and many children, and I got to live that life.
Live, the 45th Annual Academy Awards presentation. Liv Ullman, a nominee for The Emigrants.
And I was nominated for an Oscar, and I felt wonderful, and my mother was with me, and my sister, and it was incredible, and everybody said, oh, this was Hollywood. Oh, you're going to win the Oscar. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, you're so charming. And I believed every word. Oh, I'm really sweet and charming. And my sewing circle was with me, my best friends. They were with me and stayed in a hotel, and there was a party, just before we went into the auditorium. And again, everybody said, oh, you will win it. You're so lovely. Is it possible to be so lovely?
Liza Minnelli.
And I didn't win. But yeah, it was sad, but it wasn't like when I was young and tried to get into the theater school and didn't make it. Okay, there are winners and losers. It didn't do so much.
Can I ask you a little bit about your time going to 70s Hollywood and, doing, I guess, more lighthearted films, trying to do something a little bit different?
I got all film offers, which I maybe didn't really fit to, a musical, Lost Horizon. I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance. Oh, you're so lovely, you do that. And 40 carats to play a 40-year-old woman from New York, and I was like 35, and I was from Norway with this accent and so.
You spent one wonderful night in Greece. And
of course it became a comedy, but maybe a different kind of comedy. I did 4 movies and maybe closed down a studio, but, even Greta Garbo didn't do that.
Time magazine called her Hollywood's new Nordic star. Producers stood in line to sign her up. Everybody wanted a part in creating a new Greta Garbo or Ingrid Bergman. But Hollywood wasn't quite sure how they would do it.
You must cut your hair, said one producer. No, I'll make you the biggest star if you'll just dress a little differently. I'm used to dressing this way. Perhaps you should wear some more makeup? Send a beauty parlor bill to me? Certainly not. And then they left me alone. After all, I enjoyed the status of a serious actor. I had soul and depth and was European. I didn't use makeup. I came from Norway. And it was only men and all the most famous actors in the world.
A Bridge Too Far. Starring Dirk Bogarde, James Caan, Michael Caine, Sean Connery, Gene Hackman.
If I was the only woman and it was with Laurence Olivier, of course I said yes.
Liv Ullman.
Take cover!
My part wasn't the biggest part in the world, but I was with Laurence-Olivier, and I was very nervous, and I forgot my lines. I never forget my lines. And he said, oh, you know, I'm like that too. When I'm nervous, I forget my lines. And I was walking there, and it was an important movie, a wonderful director, and James Bond, and we were friends, and yeah, all of them. Oh, it's incredible.
Well, she had a great sense of humor about her own status as a film star. She never thought of herself that way. She was always kind of surprised that people treated her that way.
Rock Hudson, when my sewing circle came over to Hollywood, he took them to Disneyland and everywhere, and he was wonderful. And yes, a very famous actor did ask me to come and visit him, and Rock Hudson said, don't go there. Oh, there's a lot of people, they want to welcome me to Los Angeles, don't go there. And so I go, of course, with Rock Hudson, what does he know? And so I go to this famous actor, there was no one there. And oh, what is going on? And it rings on the doorbell, and outside is Rock Hudson. I knew you would go, come with me. And he knew, I mean, she's naive, she'll do anything, you know. So we'll have to go and get her out. As I sat in his chair, the makeup artist and I gossiped. He gave me good advice for my new life and was always around as if he wanted to make sure that I didn't get into difficulties. Sparkle, he whispered to me as I went into the lights and the heat and the cameras. That's what Shirley Temple's mother always said to her little daughter. I spent some months in Hollywood and tried to sparkle. When something inside me protested, I reminded myself I would soon be home again. I was successful, but I didn't really know how successful in a way I was, because I was going from one area of my life to another area of my life. And I live in Hollywood, and I have a beautiful house and swimming pool, and Lynn learns to swim there, my daughter. And then at the same time, I go to Sweden to do scenes from a marriage with Ingmar. And there we are living in very poor cottages and have outdoor toilets, and I meet with Arlan Josephson, who I played with each morning at 4. So it's that reality. I think God was kind of good to me, so it wouldn't go to my head.
Fan. Även om du inte tänker komma tillbaka, så kan du väl säga att du kommer tillbaka, va?
Jag måste gå nu. Marianne.
I think probably the one that crystallized her incredible gift and her profound generosity as a performer was Scenes from a Marriage, because it just the Erland Josephson and her, and the way they worked together was like they were one organism.
Jag har tagit alldeles för mycket hänsyn till dig i vårt samliv. Jag tror att hänsynen tog död på kärleken.
You knew that the way it was filmed, it was literally in the corner of the set. It was so bare. And the way they went through, often in one shot, with very little coverage, you were transported into a relationship that you felt lost on a foreign island with these people, but yet in a place that felt so familiar. And I think it was an acting masterclass, and I watched it when I was at drama school, and it really changed what I thought was even possible in terms of veracity and truth in performance on screen.
Johan, om du ska vara ärlig. Johan, se på mig! Se på mig, Johan! Du har ångrat dig. Du vill inte skiljas. Du hade tänkt tala om det för mig idag, va? Svara ärligt nu.
Ja, om jag hade några tankar i den riktningen skulle det vara en förbrytelse det. Jag erkänner mig besegrad, det är det du vill höra.
There's so many layers to it, and you think, how could she, at that young age, understand the ancient wisdom and the regret and the longing that they would, one feels when one is in one's 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. And I think that's why I keep thinking about her as this ancient creature. but with a kind of a lightness of spirit. And I think what keeps her profoundly light is her incredible sense of humour, obviously, but her profound interest in other people.
I was doing on Broadway Anne Christie, Greta Garbo. She had done Anne Christie too, you know, and I had a great success as Anne Christie. And then we talked so much about Greta Garbo. And suddenly there on the street of Fifth Avenue comes Greta Garbo. And she is a legend. There are not many people that are legends. She was a legend. And I thought, oh, she will really like to know that here is somebody now who's doing her play, and, you know, we have a lot in common. Oh, she's going to be so happy to meet me. And so I start, you know, walking a little quickly towards her. And she turns and she sees me, and fright, I think, came in her eyes. But she didn't kind of look at me and stay. She started to go much quicker. Oh, she didn't see me. And I start to go much quicker after her. And then she starts running. And I start running because, I mean, when she hears what I have to say, you know, that she'll be so happy. And she ran and turned her head. And she was so scared that we came to Central Park. And she ran into Central Park. And suddenly I realized she lives in an isolation that she has chosen for whatever reason. She had to choose that, this incredible, lonely lady. And then I suddenly felt lucky, you know, because I can go back to Norway and eat waffles with cheese on and have my friends. And so I probably won't be a legend, but I have togetherness. Women liberation was starting to get really strong, and all the very famous women liberation people, oh, they wanted to see A Doll's House, because that is an author who talks about women liberation, who leaves their husband and children and goes out, you know, as a strong soldier in the world for women.
You're turning your back on your most sacred duties.
And what, in your opinion, are my most sacred duties?
Surely you don't have to ask me that. I mean your duties as a wife and a mother.
I have other duties, just as sacred.
No, you haven't. What, for example?
My duties to myself.
Before anything else, you are a wife and a mother.
I don't believe that anymore. I believe that before anything else, I am a human being. Just the same as you are, Tova. At least, that's what I'm going to turn myself into.
I loved doing Nora, and it even made me see that I had to change, you know, because I wanted everybody to be happy with me. So instead of always saying, this is what I feel, I said at times, quite often, what you would want me to say, what would make you happy. And this is what Nora does all the time.
The way I am now, I'm not a wife for you, Tova.
I'm strong enough to change.
Maybe. If the doll is taken away from you.
To be separated from you, Nora, I just can't conceive of it.
The more reason for it to happen.
There is a young girl in me who refuses to die. No happiness hushes her. All the time she is trying to change herself. I do know that there is so much more than the things I have been near. I would like to be on my way towards this, to find peace so that I can sit and listen to what is inside me without